Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Roswell, New Mexico. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, we're picking up in the aftermath of last episode, where Max gave up his powers, and Liz is frustrated with him for doing that, because it is a situation where he made a decision on his own. Because for her, it's like, rather than embracing who you are, which Max has always been the one who has strayed away. He's always kind of denied a little bit more than anyone else. It's interesting, like the spectrum of this, the trio, the siblings, has always been. Max has never really fully embraced what they are. Michael has always embraced what they are. Isabel, I think she always leans more towards Michael, but she's always been in the middle ground. She's definitely a lot more accepting of what they are than Max has ever been. And I think that was even more evident with the fact is that Max hasn't even flexed his powers in between season 3 and 4, that year time frame, because he wanted to trying to keep as much normalcy in his and Liz's love life. He just wanted, because he was worried that if he embraced too much of the alien side, because time and time again, the alien side of things has always dragged the woman he loves into things. He's dragged her into things, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. He's like, I'm protecting you. But for her, it's like, no, you're protecting yourself. The fact is, you didn't talk to me before doing this proves that, yes, this was about you being scared, Because for her, it's like, you decide, you want to marry me, sure, but what is marriage? Marriage is supposed to be a union. It's supposed to be us working together, making decisions together, and if we can't even do that in this instant, you can't trust me, because it's like, right, you think just taking away your powers, it's like, no, she wants me too, and it's like, you are disarming yourself in this fight that's coming up, and you're making these decisions unilaterally. Of course, that's what bothers her so much. And I think I understand where Max is coming from, but I also can understand why Liz feels the way she does too. Because it's like, because you're so afraid of the future, of embracing every aspect of yourself. Because for Liz, it's like what you are and what you're capable of. Yeah, I might be scared a little bit here and there, but it's like, we're in this together, and you making that decision on your own. So Liz, when Shivani's like, oh, I'm going to go to New York for this, buying this cryogenic lab, Liz decides to tag along because she's like, yeah, I want to see my cousin. And I was like, hey, Rosa. And it's like, okay. Once again, I don't know if they wrote the season around. The fact is that Amber Midthunder was filming. Once again, I don't know. I don't even know how true that is, but I'm assuming just because Praise coming out next month that, not even just next month, 2 weeks. Just because of that, I'd assume, no, it's not even 2 weeks, is it? It's like, is it? No, it's it's next Friday. Jeez, time flies by fast. Either way, putting intentions and all that aside, I'd assume that's why she's not in this season that much, or maybe they kind of wrote it that way just because of that nature, or maybe that was always going to be maybe she was always going to have a smaller role this season, and so that allowed her to go do Parade. Either way, it doesn't matter. Either way. But she goes and sees Rosa, and she's happy for Rosa, because it's like, oh man, now that Rosa's able to kind of get away from everything Roswell related, she was able to kind of go off on her own and blossom. But the problem is, while Liz was away, she was with Shivani, and, Shivani was asking questions to Rosa about, her art and everything, but Liz, hijacked the whole conversation. It's like, took the fractal conversation about art and applied it to science and stuff, and and in that moment, you can feel like Rosa kind of feel left out. It's like, right, this is supposed to be my time to talk about me, and you kind of hijacked everything. And she's like, was that just meant to make me small? But Liz is like, no, I felt small, because I think for her, it's like, right, here's Shivani and her talking about something, and it's like, right, she's kind of not. I think with everything that's everything between her and Max, where things are kind of free falling right now, I think for her, it's just she needed to kind of feel a little more in control. Because with everything going on, she's spiraling a little bit because of Max making that decision on his own, trying to be the supportive girlfriend and friend, and just for that support to not be respected and responded to by Max. So she kind of hijacked it a little bit just to kind of feel some like control and like not so small when it comes to, I think, everything going on between her and Max. But Rosa is like, Max is very stubborn. That's always been a part of who he is, but his journey is his journey. You just have to embrace being Liz, like all that pertains and contains to just being you, and like not being, like kind of like, just kind of embracing more of what you, and because I think Rosa was able to do that outside of Roswell, just kind of embrace like who she is and all that she is, and who she wants to be. And I think that was kind of something Liz needed. I mean, I love that she has her sister, cousin, to lean on with situations like that. So at the same time, that's all going down. Michael, Bonnie, and Max are trying to figure out how to handle this Teska situation, because they figure like, right, that Teska must be in a weakened state right now, and the point is to divide and conquer. It's like, right, they've already lost Bonnie, but if Bonnie and Michael can work together, they can convince Clyde to work with them. That it's like, right, he just wants to get a ship so he can go home. So it's like, right, it's in everyone's best interest for us to work together against Teska. And Michael shows off the map and everything, which Max kind of has mixed feelings about, because it's like, right, you hid that from us. And he even talks to Isabel about it. But Isabel's like, yeah, like you hid the decision you made from Liz, which he goes like, right, I catch the hypocrisy there. But it's like, right, Michael has wanted this forever, but Max is scared because he's like, right, like Michael might actually, like, it's one thing to dream about it, but this is something else when it's like the possibility has never been this real before. But for Max, it's just, he's scared. He wants to protect Michael, but it's like, right, sometimes when he wants to protect someone so badly, he kind of oversteps those boundaries and kind of crosses lines he shouldn't. And whether it be with Liz, but that was real, he was kind of using her as an excuse. But I think regardless of just using her excuse, protecting her is true to like the circumstances, but it was also protecting yourself, because you legitimately don't have enough faith and belief in yourself that you can control, embracing who and what you are fully, that you be able to control it and not be used by Teska. But the whole situation made him realize that he needs to take a step back. It's like, right, Michael's an adult. You need to kind of respect, yes, you are his older brother, and we get that. You love him, but you got to respect his decisions. Like, whatever choices he makes, you need to kind of be able to respect those. So they do end up confronting Teska. Obviously, they're down 2 powers, but Liz has an idea of how to. What the idea she gave, I think, is going to end up helping Shivani with her daughter, her and Allie's daughter. I think it's also, she talks about it later, it's going to help her get Michael's powers back. Specifically, didn't reference Max. They're going to need to, but that's a conversation they're going to have, and I think Max is going to like, right, you were right, I shouldn't have done that. It'll probably either be like a thing of he's still going to be reluctant to take his powers back, but then he probably won't have a choice. She'll probably give him the antidote, and he'll have to decide when he wants to take it, and he will have to take it. He'll have to get his powers back. Because I was wondering last episode if there's going to be a lot more to his situation where there's like, will like his powers disappear temporarily? It's like, no, they seem like they are permanently gone, just like Michael. So the reverse engineering all of that is what Liz has been working on, or at least has an idea for. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. But I get the feeling like Max is going to end up holding off on that for so long, but he won't have a choice but to get his powers back in his fight against Teska. Well, as more is kind of going up through the episode, that fight's kind of expanded a little, but the interesting thing is that Isabel, obviously when she was helping Dallas, which we'll get to in a second, go on his journey, like through memory lane, they hear reference to some kind of teacher, which obviously Isabel's like, I have no memories of Oasis, and she get a partial of it, and you see it's Teska. You're like, Teska was her teacher, and she confirms it when they fight later on. It's like, wait, what were you to me? And it's like, right, it won't matter. Because I guess for her, like, whatever they had, whatever relationship they had, it's like, I know who you are. You're too much your own mother's daughter in this situation. Your mother got grown attached to this world. She was weak. You and now have kind of like you have that as well, that sentimentality for this world. So you're no longer like whatever you might have been to me before. That's not what you are now. You are you're just a thorn in my side of the mission I'm trying to accomplish. Because they like the way they talk about a Fiacus. Like I don't. Once again, I don't think they've ever explained that, but I've just assumed. My assumption has always been like, and maybe they have explained it. And I'm forgetting that they did, but I just keep assuming like that's a god they worship on Oasis, because for them they feel like the mission that Jones gave them was like this divine mission because he was the savior and everything. So it's almost like it's all determined, and we've got essentially their alien god on their side, believing that this is the path that they're meant to follow. But I love that Isabel was talking to Dallas, and when he was in his swim shorts, she was almost like, oh, like she's like, you're not secretly harboring any feelings for me. It's like, if he's secretly harboring any, well, not even secretly. There's the whole him and Cam thing. Like there was a little flirtation back then and back and forth, but there's always room for that to kind of grow into something more if ever need be, I think. But I love her being like, yeah, I just kind of don't want. Lately, I kind of realized I've been blindsided. It's like, yeah, I talked about it last episode. She legitimately didn't see the whole thing of like Kyle being in love with her. She totally didn't see that coming. And I love that Dallas is like, oh, does it have anything to do with a doctor in Mexico? She's like, all right, this isn't about my mindscape. This is about yours. So they go through his memories and they see Roy interacting with Theo. And obviously, like everyone else's kids were still in the pods, whether it's Michael, whether it's Isabel, and now it's like, right, Theo has his son out and about, but that put him in a compromised position because Jones is like, right, I don't have to kill you. Killing you isn't the only way I can hurt you. You know, threatening to hurt Theo. I mean, not threatening to hurt Dallas. And so this is about taking that journey to find out where the glasses in the book is. And obviously, when Roy showed up and shot Theo, I was like, what the? I was like, wait, what? I was like, is he being controlled or something? And he's like, that's not your father. I was like, Tesca. It's like fascinating. So she was active even back then. Interestingly enough, I wonder, was Bonnie and Clyde still on ice? Well, potted up, or did Tesca? Did he wake Tesca up for this mission? And did he put her? He had to put her back under, right? Or maybe she was just out and about the entire time, just waiting for... Because she probably woke up... I don't know. Maybe Jones's transmission ended up waking her up from inside of the pod, and then she woke up the other two. Maybe, I don't know. Either way, we kind of know about what ended up happening to Dallas, his dad hiding glasses. It's like, right, this will not be the last time we meet. You won't forget. The memories are going to be buried deep inside, but I know that you will find all this when you need it to be. And separating like the glasses and the Bible from each other. He even gave Roy the map, and obviously the Christmas, and it's like, right, gave it to the Valentis to hide and stuff. So, but ultimately, Dallas remembers where it is, that water that they were nearby. I think it was like their favorite spot or something, or maybe it's just because it was nearby. Either way, to get to the glasses, he ends up pulling a Moses, which I think is very poetic, considering him being the religious man that he is, that he literally parts the sea to find the glasses. And he has the means of looking for what his father had hidden. But ultimately, everyone else ends up finding out that Clyde is quite manipulative. Like, that's why, like, it almost seems like it's so interesting, once again, because that actor, once again, because he played a character, Lucian, he kind of played a similar role in season 3, was it? Yeah, 3 of the originals. That he kind of played that role. He kind of became the main antagonist for a little while, and then he eventually kind of like took a back seat, and Marcel kind of took that place. So I'm curious, is a similar thing going to happen in this regard? Of like, right, Tesca was kind of the main antagonist. He kind of took that from her. Like now he's kind of doing his thing, because he's very by the books, and he feels like Teska has done so much to stray, and she's also keeping so much of the plan to herself because it's like, right, Jones entrusted me and not you, so it's up to me to dictate when and where like this information gets disseminated to the rest of you. Especially, she's going to be a lot more tight-lipped after the Bonnie thing. But for Bonnie, it's like, wait, the location you sit in, because he'd been watching the entire time. He overheard the conversations between Michael, Bonnie, and Max, and then also he was there when Isabel and Dallas found the glasses, and he believes once again that he's divinely ordained. That, and also finds out that like Michael's been under the impression this has all been about a ship. It's not. He needs the final building pieces to the puzzle, and those pieces are the Bible, Theo's instructions, and the glasses to read them from the Bible. And so he threatens. He's like, Dallas, like, either you give me or I throw her in this quicksand. And despite everything, he's just like, I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry that I had to scare you, but he's like, sacrifices have to be made for the greater cause, because this is bigger than all of us, and you've already shown your betrayal to this mission. And I think it also sees Teska's situation as a betrayal too, because it's like, you've strayed too far from the path. Yeah, you might be trying to do the mission, but you've yourself have strayed so far. Ends up pushing her into quicksand, and also Dallas. And he's like, oh, I guess he thought this was going to kill them. And I guess it's like, right, this quicksand is where Alex has been. So I'm like, interesting. So I'm like, I was thinking Dallas was going to be able to pull them out. But it's like, right, just let her go. Like, fine, you can do whatever you're doing to me, but let her go. Forgive her. But he's like, no, like, in this, like, for this to all go down, like, you know, like, sacrifices will have to be made for the greater cause, for the greater good. Because it's like, right, so what is he trying to build using Theo's notes? What did Jones want him to build? Are we dealing with like a giant, like, for example, warp gate situation of trying to bring all that is Oasis here? Are they going to try and make this their new Oasis? You know, it's like a, you know, kind of Kryptonian thing of terraforming this planet to be what you want. So I wonder if that's a possibility. What else could it be? If it's not a ship, what else could it be? I wonder, does the fruit still play a part in that? Because it was supposed to be fuel, but maybe it's not fuel for a ship. It's a fuel for whatever machine or whatever it is that he's building, for Jones. Because Jones gave him life and gave him purpose. So, of course, he's going to be dedicated like none other, because he was lost, and he's one of those people, like, right, that you were lost and almost like you were brought into a cult, which even Bonnie refers to their situation as a cult, but it's like, yeah, like someone who was lost and found by a cult leader and brought in. Of course, they're going to be extra motivated. They're going to be turned into an extremist, and that's what Clyde is. So, when it's all said and done, though, they're at the bottom of that quicksand, but they're not dead, obviously. But it does seem like they might have either landed in different places. Because like, obviously everyone's been unaware of what's happened to Alex until the Maria stuff. So Maria constantly throughout the episode, she's like thinking she's getting signs for her mom, but she's also like, maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I want to see my mom too much. And then it's not until the end that she starts piecing it together. Where I thought these were signs for my mom. It's like, it's Alex, and the bell rings, ding, ding, ding. It's like, wait, how did he do that? How, like, so part of me wonders, when he below the quicksand, it's not that, it's got, because at first she's like, wait, if Alex is reaching me, does that mean he's dead? I mean, he's been down there for God knows how long, but it might be that he tapped into something, like maybe there's like a pod or something buried there that allowed him to kind of like, or maybe he found some alien machine there that he's able to kind of interact with, because Dallas ends up finding the piece of alien glass that Michael had given Alex there. And when he touched it and picked it up, he sees like a vision of his dad. He's like, right, this is only the beginning of your journey. So we'll ultimately have to wait and see where all of that ends up taking us. Understanding, maybe like the next episode will give us a better understanding of everything that Alex has been dealing with trapped beneath the quicksand. Teska left him there, but it's like, for what reason? I thought she was having him work on something, but it doesn't seem like even, because Eduardo wasn't thrown down there, he was just held captive, so even he doesn't know what's what about all of that, so we'll ultimately have to wait and see what Dallas ends up finding him and Bonnie and like I said, I'm assuming they're all down there, just they got separated in 3 different spots. You'd assume Bonnie would be a lot closer to Dallas, considering they weren't that far apart from each other, but maybe there's almost like maybe that sand kind of separates you in the regards of maybe they got dropped into different, like maybe there's large caverns underneath and they're all in 3 different caverns. Or Dallas has to be on the right path, in the right place, considering, once again, that piece of alien glass that Michael gave Alex is there. So we'll ultimately have to, like I said, wait and see how this all plays out going forward into the next episode. What information they ultimately end up getting out of Teska, if she gives them any. We'll see. Because I know at least, well, she'll be able to go into Teska's mindscape, but the problem is, it's like, Teska is like, right, I trained you, so I know you and what you're capable of, and Teska could probably always turn that around on Isabel. We'll have to wait and see. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. So the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.